Okay, I'm out here. I'm going to set my compound back to where it belongs at 29.5 degrees, and put my 3-jaw on, and I'm going to make that little cup that's going to hold the motor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it for the bigger motor, so that way I can do either one of the motors. The drill truck hasn't arrived yet, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that, and hopefully things will work out. But anyway, I'm going to set my compound back first. I'm going to set you back up here, maybe. I got the other camera, so I got 2 of these little GoPro knockoffs. Basically, is what they are. They actually are pretty decent camera. They're not the best, but anyway, I kind of wiped down and cleaned up a little bit here. I'm going to take and put this back where it belongs. I always have it at 29. That way it's ready for a single point, because I single point with it at 29.5 degrees, and a single point the way I was taught, and it's always worked for me. It's worked really well, so never had no problems with single pointing threads. If I remember right, that's 29.5 right there, approximately. I know some people said it at 90 degrees. I don't do that. I mean, however they want to do it, but it's not what I was taught. And I know some people that will set it at 45 so that they can have a finer adjustment, and then actually leave this in the middle of the stroke so that they have a fine adjustment, so that it only travels in, like half the distance. But I don't, like I say, I don't do that. Mine is always set like this. And we'll set this back to where it belongs. Now, I don't remember. I think I had that flipped the other way so I could... No, I had it like that. Pretty sure I had it like that. And now I'm going to put the 3-jaw on. So take that spot drill out of there. And take the collet out of there. Put that back up here. And now I gotta take the back assembly off, which is this right here. What I do is I take this screw out right here, or loosen it up, and then this whole thing comes out and the tube comes out. So I'll do that, and then I'm going to turn the camera off here. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and when I get ready to take the adapter out, I'll come back. Okay, I have this out now, and you can see I flipped it up and out of the way. So now I can take and pull the tube out. If it just fits in there. I'll lay this down somewhere, and then I grab a piece of bar stock. I have a piece of aluminum bar stock. That's to knock this out of here. It locates on a taper. So what I do, what you have to do is you go into the back end of the lathe here. I got to get around my NC mill over here on the other side, and just go in up against that, and I got to catch it with my hand, so I don't want it falling down. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a wrap back here. Whoop. Like that, and there it is. I just wipe it down, and then I hang it up here on the tool rack. And now we're going to put the 3-jaw on here. Wipe that down, because the 3-jaw loads on this taper. If you're seeing this, loads on this taper right here. You want to make sure that that taper is nice and clean. So maybe I'll turn you around here. Okay. So anyway, you gotta wipe that down, make sure there's nothing. I'll have the e-stop pushed so that nothing can turn on. And once I get that wiped down, I get the chuck out here. We'll get a few chips in it, so I'm going to give that a little bit of a blow. And then the same thing here. Wipe this taper down, because that's what locates that. If you don't have that wiped down, it's never going to run true. Okay, then you just put the pins in the holes, hold it in there, and grab a chuck key here and lock it into place. And I just go around snugging them first. I don't know if you can see in this, but I just snug them a little bit first. Then once I get all three of them snugged up, then I tighten them up. Okay, make sure you pull the ball off that you used to knock that taper out of there with. Don't want that flopping around. That wouldn't be cool. Okay, and I've rounded up some material for that cup. It's just a piece of aluminum. Put that in the 3-jaw here. I don't have collets that go that big, 1.5 inches. And I want to see just how far back do I want to go. That'll probably be sticking out far enough. Then we'll tighten that up right there. And put this here. Okay, so now I want a high-speed bit. This ain't gonna work with you sitting here like that. I'm gonna have to back you up even further. What I need is something to lay across the lanes here. I'm just trying to line you up here on the back of the lathe by the tailstock. You can kind of see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to face it off first, I guess. And the lathe hasn't ran today, so what I'm going to do is start out in a low gear here and just run it a little bit. Get the oil circulating around the gears before I go wide open. And this kind of helps get the oil circulated around the gears and the inside. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but that's just one of the things I do. Once it's been running during the day, then it hasn't sat for 8 hours, then it's fine. Okay, so now it should have took some of the oil up and around the gears. So now I'm going to put that at probably 1400 RPM. I want to go. Whoa. That's not a good sound. Let's go with 1,000. Sounds like the belts are loose. Now let's just go back to 14 once. it's just adults. Alright. Gonna face off the end here. Get it all? Not quite. There we go. I don't have any dimensions or anything. It's all just flying by the seat of the pants here. So I'm just going to turn it to clean up the smallest diameter. I think that should be about enough. I've got 1 inch 475, and I do want the front end to stick out a ways. So 1 inch 200, yeah, a little bit more. Just a tad bit more. Let's move you around the other side here again, like I had you yesterday, up on top. Yeah. See if you can see beyond the truck or not. Not really, huh? How about I should just put, I got a head strap for it, but I hate wearing it and setting it up that way. I don't like it like that. I don't like other videos that I see that are like that, because head movement is too much and it gets me dizzy. So I guess this is going to have to do back here. The zoom on this camera, I don't like the zoom because it gets all fuzzy then. Not very good camera for that. All right. I do like this power feed. I can adjust it up and down while I'm feeding, not having to stop and switch gears. Okay, that's pretty close to cleaned up. And I'm going to put a nice chamfer on there. If I have a chamfer tool set up somewhere. I did have at one time. Well, I got a single point tool set up. I'll put a small single point. Yeah. Okay. So now it's just a basically just drill and bore a hole in here. The first thing I'm going to do is, I haven't really decided yet what the pin I'm going to use. I think I'll go with a 3/8. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and ream a 3/8. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to go bandsaw it off, put it in the 3-jaw, flip it around and face it off. So I'm going to take it out of here, go bandsaw it off right here, and then put it back in the 3-jaw That way I can ream the hole all the way through, and then I can open it up and bore it to the, I'm going to ream it for a 3/8 pin to have a nice slip fit with a pin through there. And then I'll probably turn up the pin out of some 01 or one of the tool steels, because I want to be able to drill a cross hole through it. So I don't want to use just a drill blank or a dowel or anything. So anyway, I'll be back after I saw it off, and then we'll flip it around. Okay, I got it cut off. And I'm going to put that in there in the 3-jaw and give it a little bit of a wiggle back and forth as I tighten it. And now we'll face that off. And yeah, I'm going to have to check those belts out. I think they're loose. I'm going to kick it down to 1,000. The camera, the battery went dead on it, so it didn't have much juice. This one doesn't have much juice either. But I did get the part sawed off. I faced it off and chamfered it so far. And I got you on a magnetic base now, so I can put you on above the 3-jaw here. And hopefully it won't vibrate too much. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so now I'm going to put the drill chuck in. Still have the bolt in it. I'm going to take that out. I'm not going to use that anymore. I already destroyed the setup. So, and chances are, if you put this back in the drill chuck, you'll never get it to run exactly true. So now I'm going to center drill that. Put a nice center drill in it, and I'm going to drill a hole through it. Put a nice deep center drill in it, and then I'm going to drill that hole undersized, and then I probably will bore it. Take at least one cut with the boring bar. 344 drill here is what I got. I'm running at 1,000 RPM. I'm just going to plunge it right through. I hope to, anyway. Okay. So now, I'd like to run a boring bar through that, if I have one small enough, long enough. And that's only just in case the drill walked a little bit, that this will bring it back. And that's not going to do it. I may end up having to live with it the way it is. I don't have a boring bar. I got small ones, but not long enough. So I'm going to open that up some more with a drill. We'll go with a 360 drill here. That'll leave about 7 thou. 360, yeah, about 7 thou on the side for reaming, and I'll probably double ream it. Wasn't paying attention to my tailstock. I had it all the way extended. I gotta get in here closer. Didn't quite make it all the way through. Okay. So now I'm going to go with a whoop. I'm going to go with a reamer. If I can find one. Okay, I've got a 374.5 reamer here. And now we're going to kick the RPM down to about 220. That looks good. Here, and this time I'm going to put some, see if I can find where I set it. I'm looking for my Molly D. Here it is. Put a little Molly D on it. Don't take much. A little hallelujah. Slowly go through. All right. I was going to double ream it, but that's a press fit for a 375 diameter now. Now we're going to open this up for the motor to fit in there, and we want to save about a 1/4 inch in the back where the pin's going to press in. So we want to go in about 1 inch 100 thousandths, around that anyway. What I think I'll do is I will open it up first with a drill. We want to go to, actually I'm going to make it fit the small one. I'm going to make it fit the small motor, and then if I want to put the big motor in, I can just re-chuck it up and open it up more. And the small motor is 960 would be a nice slip fit in there. So, I want to give a 960 something close. I have some old drills. That I gotta search through and find. I'm gonna find a drill and then I'll be back. And the battery is just about to run out anyway, so I'll probably find a drill that, and then I'll come back when I'm started boring. I'm gonna take and hook the cameras up to charge up a little bit. Okay, the battery went dead, so I had to go charge the battery on the camera, and I'm in the process of boring here now. So hasn't been running for a while, so I am going to go to a... Alright, Okay, that's right. 960. That's what I want to go to, and I'm at 620. 340 thou to go. I'm going to take 100 thou. It's a 100 thou cut. 100. That was 100 thou cut. So we are at 820. I'm going to take another 100 thou cut. And this time I'm going to give it a dab of oil in there. Hopefully it won't get all over the camera. My rat's nest. Another 100 thou cut. All right. See where we're at again. Should be about 920 or somewhere in there. Yeah. We're at 9. Oh boy. I misread that, didn't I? That was a 200 thou cut. So this should already fit in there loose as a goose, but that's okay. I'm going to put screws, a couple of screws to dial that in. Maybe I'll just use the big one. Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll use this bigger one. I kind of like to have a nice slip fit. So I kind of made my choice for myself by, I took a 200 thou cut instead of a 100. They were both 200 thou cuts. Oh boy. So, and I want to go to 1 inch 90, and I'm at approximately 1 inch 90, and I'm at 1 inch 20. So I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, 40, 60. We'll put me at 1 inch 8. Probably a dumb mistake. Like I say, it made my choice for me. That should be about 10 thousandths to go. Yeah. So we'll take a 10 thou cut, face off the bottom, and we should be done. So crank her in, out 10 thou. I'm going to go into the bottom, and then I'm going to face the bottom. And I'm just going to crank her another 5 thou or so, and I'm going to face the bottom off. Nice little cup there now. Bigger motor should slide into there. Oh yeah, perfect. That's pretty close to what I envisioned. Other than I was going to use the smaller one, but that's okay. So now what I got to do is go over and take it out of there. Take it out of the take it out of the 3-jaw. And take the camera. And what I'm going to do is cut windows in the side here, at least one window for the wires to come out. So the wires will come out of the side here. And actually I think what I will do is cut the windows on the back side. I'll just drill a hole, 2 holes here off center of that, so that the wires can come right out the back, and then there'll be a pin pressed into here about, well, I don't know how long yet. So we're going to go over to the mill and poke a couple holes in this. Yeah, set you up on the vise here. And wipe. Oops. I'm gonna grab a couple V-blocks. And we'll have to open the vise up naturally. Okay, and then I'm going to center it on that hole there, which is 3/8. I'm just going to grab a 3/8 pin. Oh, stuck the hole. And here. Like I say, I'm just flying by the seat of the pants, and as I go here I make the decisions of what I'm gonna. I'm not dialing it in, I'm just doing it with the pin here. So that's on center line this way, and now I want to put a hole on the outside for that. And what I want to do is I want to measure this. So I'll be right out to the edges. So it'll be 800. So 400, 400. I will go over 400 approximately. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to drill a hole through there. Oop, bumped the camera there. Sorry about that. Okay. I just want to double check. I want to make sure that so if I go 800, it'll be like that. I could actually go another, I'm just going to go another 25 thou. right there. This is a 1/4 inch spot drill that I'm going through with. And I'm going to put a nice chamfer on that hole. And now we'll go over the other side. Get back to my center here. Right there. 1, 2, and 25. Should be right there. Wait a minute. That's not right. That's 1, 2, and 25. Right. What am I doing? Okay. Come on, get your head out of the clouds. So, 1, 2, and 25. Why am my index, my dial must be loose. Oh. I was going 225. It's 425. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 25. That's better. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes the simplest things get you. Whoop, like that. All right. So, now, going to the inside, and I'll just have to deburr that with a burr quick. All right, here's the overheater side. See what I'm doing, man. I can kind of show you anyway. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is just burr quick that, and then go in here and burr quick the center hole, and then as much as the other side holes as I can. Alright, so now the motor should, the 2 wires should be able to fit right through there. So, if I'm careful and not drop it on the floor, put the wires through. Like that. Oh, when you know the back is just a tad tighter, so it's going to fit tight. That's okay. Maybe I think I'm gonna open that up just a little bit. I have this fitting too tight here, so I am going to put it back in the 3-jaw and then take out maybe 5, 6 more thou. I'll come back when I get that done. Okay, so here it is. I stuck the 2 wires through, and I have it I now have it a nice slip fit, and comes through. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go put 3 set screws around this outside edge of here, so that it'll actually hold that concentric, hopefully. I will dial it in, and I wonder if that's necessary, you know. Well, I want it that way, so. And I didn't want it all the way in so the air can actually still flow through the vent holes here. It's got 2 vent holes. It blows out there. So I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work anyway. And I'll probably fill these up back here with silicone. And should put a little wire bracket right there. Also, a little screw with to grab those wires and hold them in place. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is work on the set screws here. I want 3 of them around the perimeter of this. So I'm going to go and get that set up on the drill press and go ahead and poke 3 holes in the perimeter of that. And they don't have to be exact. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to scribe a line on there in 3 spots that look equally spaced around there, and I'm going to go ahead and do that on the mill. And I'll come back when I get that done. Okay, I drilled and tapped for 440 screws around it. I'm just going to use socketed cap screws for now. So let's see if we can line this up and put this all back together again. Stick the wires through there. And pull that down. Oops. Put it in there. Tighten that up. And that's, like I say, I'm going to take and put this on in the lathe once I get it done, and then I'll be able to move it around just a little bit to get it centered with the 3 screws. So the next piece of the puzzle is the shaft. And I'll have to figure out how long a shaft I want to put on that. I want it to come back to here somewhere. And then what I'm going to do is in this keyway, I'm going to cut a slot, and then opposite side I'll probably just drill a hole way at the end of it. So the hole I drill through here, I'll drill all the way through. And then what's going to happen is this is going to have a shaft on it. It's going to go through a sleeve about maybe 1 inch long. And on the back side of that sleeve, it's going to have a spring going around the shaft. And the shaft is going to have a cross hole that I can put a pin in it, and that spring is going to pull the chuck back. So it'll be just like a finger chuck. Only it's going to be a powered finger chuck, really. Basically, that's what it is. It's a finger chuck, but it's powered. The end of it is going to be powered. It's going to have a high-speed motor attached to it. So I have to decide what I want to work on next. Do I want to make that shaft, or do I want to... I think I'm going to work on putting this in the lathe and drilling and boring the holes in it. And once I get this piece made, then I can make the sleeve for it, and then I can make the pin. I'll make that pin last. That way I can make it a nice fit to the sleeve and everything that I make for it. So I'm going to go back over the lathe here and take the 3-jaw off. I don't want that on there. Get this out of the way. and get my little board over here that I use. You know, when I take that off, on and off, I don't want to drop it on my lathes and mess up my lathe. Okay, so what we need to do is loosen up the, first I'm going to crank the jaws in, and then I'm going to loosen up the cams on the cam lock. They're still partially turned, and it doesn't. You don't need a big mallet. I got just a little hammer. Usually it just comes right out. There we go. You can feel it when it lets go, and because it's loose now. Put it around to the index mark for release, and the last one. Come right out of there, and put that back in the cabinet. Now we're going to go back to collets. So I want to get the inside of that cleaned out. You want to make sure there's nothing in there. No chips. Because that's what makes your collet run true. If you don't have that sleeve in there true, your collets are never going to run true. Alright. You take, this is the little adapter, the 5C collet adapter. I'm not sure what taper that is. It's a 5C taper in here, but I don't know what that outside taper is. I'm sure in the lathe book it tells me, but no oil, no nothing, just wipe it all off. Just lay it in there and just give it a quick, and that's it. So then we take our tube, which I put up here, and we take and we slide that in. Slide that in. Bring this handle down and around, and then I have to put the screws in here, and I have my 5C collet ready to go again. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back. Okay. So now the first thing I want to do is put a drill chuck over here. So what I'm going to do is take the drill chuck out of the tailstock. I'm not going to use that one. I have a straight collet Jacobs chuck here, or not Jacobs, Albright. And put a 1/2 inch collet in there. It's got a 1/2 inch shank on it. I'm going to back this out of the way. We're not going to be using our cross slide for anything. Move that, and then I'm going to take and put this in. 5C collet. I don't know if the camera, how long the camera's going to go. I only had it on the battery charger for just a little while, so wasn't fully charged. The other one is charging. Yet. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to take and put our blank in here, that's laying right here. But before I do that, I want to measure exactly how far I want to go back with that. So I can go back I'd say 3 inches 700 thousandths is what I can go back. And what's the biggest diameter? Because of that keyway in there. So right right now it's about okay, I'll say 600. So if I go 400 thou diameter, all I need is clearance for a spring. So I'm going to wipe that off, make sure that everything, and I'm going to take and put it in here. I'm going to put that keyway slot downward, and I'm just going to bring that out a little bit and lock it, and I'm just going to give it a quick wrap, and that should take care of it. Now it's already center drilled, so I'm going to go with a 1/4 inch drill right away. Actually, I'm going to go with a 5/16 drill. I'm going to go with a 5/16 drill right away. I'm going to bottom it out in the chuck. Okay. I'm going to back this up so I can get as much stroke as I can. And we'll approach this and get it up close. Lock my tailstock. And what RPM am I at? I am at 800 RPM. That should be okay. Oil on that. Hopefully I'm not going to mess up my camera here. We're all flying around. I'm going to back the camera up a little bit. Actually, I think I'm going to swing the camera around to the other side over here. I'm going to stop and get those chips off of there. And I'm going to slide it in to the bottom of the hole where I'm at. That's an inch 700. say 3 inches 700, didn't I? I'm going to take this out just to double check, and it's hot too. I let it cool. I'm playing musical cameras today. The battery went dead, so I hooked it back up here on my computer. It's charged. It should be charging now, and I'm going to put this one over here. I'm in the process of drilling. I took this out just to double check to make sure where I was at. I was at 2 inches 700 where I left off. That's how far deep I am, and I need to go to 3 inches 800, so I got 1 inch and 100 to go yet. So I'm going to put you back in the height, or in my little tripod here, magnetic tripod on the lathe, and we'll continue on. I'm going to tighten this up. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm just riding the brake and sliding it up there to where the drill hits the bottom of the hole, locking it, and then going 100 thou at a crack. And, or actually going probably 400 thou is what I've been doing. So here we go. We're at 2 inches 700. At the bottom of the hole, lock it. 3 inches. Slide it out, clear the fruit. Get a little oil. We're at 3 inches. 100. 200. 300. We're at 2 inches 300 now. Got 500 to go. 400. 500. 600. 3 inches 600. 700 and 800. So that should be 3 inches 800 right there. And I will take it out of there just to double check and see. Take this drill out of here. I'm sure it's hot. Lay that here. I'm sure this is hot. Actually, it's not too bad. All right, I'm just going to check it with my calipers real quick. Just make sure. We're at 3 inches 650, but that's to where the drill. That's not down to the point. So that should be good. I could actually go a couple hundred more, but I'm going to drill this bigger now. And I wanted to go to, let's see, this is like a 600. I'm going to go to, actually I could go to, I'm going to go with a 7/16 drill next. Alright, take this, put it away, get a 7/16 drill. Put a 7/16 drill in here. I might slow the RPM down a little bit too. I'm at 800, I believe. Yep, I'm at 800. I'm going to drop it to 600. Okay. And here I just got to drill to the bottom of that hole. So I'm going to move it up here. Dab oil, and away we go. go to the bottom of that hole anyway. And I know that I got 200 thou to go from the bottom of that hole. Now I'm going to release the brake and slide it forward, but I'm going to ride the brake just in case it grabs. Like I say, I'm just going to go to the bottom of the hole and just go maybe another 100. Yeah, we're at the bottom of the hole right now. All right. We're making headway. Take that drill out. Now that was a 7/16. Blow the chips out of the bottom of the hole here. And just double checking it, the way my luck's been going today, misreading everything. And we're at 3 inches, 820. So that's where we're at. That's fine. So that means that I can go to I'm going to go with I think I'm going to try to shoot for a 625 diameter. Oop, that didn't feel right. That's better. All right. Don't know if I've got a 625 drill or not. Take a look. In my junk drawer. A lot of these drills that I've got in this junk drawer need to be sharpened. 590. $560. Not looking good for the home team. $640. No 5/8 yet. Yeah, I don't think I have a 5/8 drill. So I'm going to have to go with what I got. Which would be, what is this one? That's this big monster. 640. 640, I don't know. You know what, I think I'm not going to go with a Okay, I want to bore this for a sleeve, and we're at I think I'm going to go with a 1/2 inch, just open it up to a 1/2 inch all the way to the bottom of that. That'll give me 62 thou on a side around that pin. I'm just trying to think of what springs I have and wire diameter. I would like to go a little bit bigger than that. Maybe I have a 9/16 reel. Guess what? I found a 625. Not in the best of shape. I don't know how well it's going to cut, but we'll see. I'm going to crank the RPM down a little more. I'm at 600 now. I am going to go to 360. Okay. Put this back in there where it belongs. All right. There we go. It's got to just go to the bottom of the hole again. Actually, for not being in such good shape, it's cutting pretty good. Making a mess again. I did start the camera, didn't I? Oh yeah. The way things are going. See that be all done and then go, ah, geez, you didn't start the camera. Okay, we're at the end of the stroke. Slide it in right to there. My eyes keep playing tricks on me. You know, not used to seeing the tailstock going forward. My eyes are playing tricks on me. It looks like the drill's moving half the time. It's just kind of a weird feeling. Got to be getting close here. I think that's it right there. And we'll see. I'll take it out of there. Ooh, that's hot. Woohoo! That baby's hot now. Alright. I'll blow the chips out of there. I can actually see down in the hole now. if you can see it down in the hole or not. Yeah. But anyway, we are at, oops, mess up my calipers, 860. 3 inches, 860. So where the bottom of that hole is right there. So now what I'm going to do is bore for a sleeve, and I want the sleeve to be, I want it approximately probably 1.5 inches long. So 1.5 inches long, I can only open it up to, I want to make sure I leave 100 thou on the side at least. So 1, 2, so about 700. So yeah, I'm going to shoot for 700 thou, 1.5 inches deep. So we'll put this back in there again. Okay. That back to the jump drills. Take the drill chuck out, put that away. Now I'm going to switch to a 3/4 collet and line up a boring bar. When I get that lined up, I'll come back. Okay, I switched collets. Now I'm going to put my boring head in here. It's a 3/4 inch collet, 3/4 inch shank on this boring head. I'm going to stick that boring head in here and lock it in. Well, trying to get it to lock here. I went beyond the, there we go. Too tight. Alright, so now I'm going to put a boring bar in there, and I'll take one of my homemade jobbies here and stick that in there and get the tip lined up. Let's put this in the neutral here for a minute. Alright, just want to get the tip lined up correctly. Face of that parallel with the travel of the boring head. And tighten that up. And bring this forward. I want to get in there with a snap gauge, so I want to be able to, well, I can pull it away. That's okay. She should repeat plenty good. So now, I want to get my boring bar set. Like right there is flush. Set my dial here. And I think I'll make a mark here on the, with a grease pencil, so I can see where I'm at, so I don't get lost. If I can find the magic marker, it magically disappeared. Well, huh. Now here's a red. Here's a red one. That will work. Just put a mark on there with a magic marker so I can see where I'm at. And now we'll set the boring bar so it touches, and then find out where we're at. I could use a little more light. I That's something else I want to do over here is get an LED light system put together. Naturally, the batteries are dead in this. How about this one? This will work. All right. Kind of a pain to see in there. Trying to see how far away I am. I'm quite a ways away. Should be just touching now, I think. Nope. No, another. Touching now. All right, so I'm gonna take the cut right there, and then I'll use my snap gauges to see where I'm at. I'm gonna put a little oil in there, and I'm gonna kick the RPM up to 1,000 again. No, maybe 800. 800. There's one in. There's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. That was 1 inch 500. I'm going to see if I can get in there with my snap gauge. And maybe it would help if I got the right snap gauge. Got them hooked around in my case here. All right. And if I don't know how many of you have used snap gauges, but I use them and I've had really good luck with them. But there is a technique, and I don't know if I'll be able to actually do it here. You just go over center one time with them, and you don't go back and forth. You just go, you put it in the hole at an angle, release it, and then lock it, and then just one time. You don't go back and forth and try to find the spot. You just slide it one time. It'll find its center, and when you measure that, you're going to be measuring a press fit. You're going to be measuring about 1/2 to 1,000th press fit, depending on how tight you tighten this. Once you get the feel of that, you can judge it pretty good. I've gotten to where I can judge about a 1/2 thou press. So let's see what we got here. This isn't critical because I'm going to make the sleeve to whatever I come up with. So we are at 647, which is actually 646.5. So I'm going to bore that up quite a bit. So I'm going to go 60 thousandths at least. I'm going to go 10, 20. I'm going to go 30 thou. little pearl in the hole. And we'll do it again. 100, 200, 300, 400. I just noticed the camera shaking. I'm holding it now. Back too far. Loosen my sleeve up in here. Now I lost my depth. Well, it's okay. There we go. I lost my depth. I'll have to reset my depth, but that's okay. Let's check it and see where we're at here. And where's my mic? Oh, is it behind a tripod? Hiding. Where? All right. So I want to go 10, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Go exact another 30 thou on the diameter. I'm going to go another 30 thou on that diameter. And then that's where I'm going to stop. Right there. And I'll go 30 thou, go in and out, and then probably back in and back out again for like a little spring pass. And I'm going to call it good, and then I'm going to make the sleeve to match that. So let's get the depth lined up here again, so I know how far I'm going. Right there. Here we go. Oh, I'm going to move the camera here because it was shaking so bad. Let's see if I can find someplace else. Maybe I can go right here and it won't shake so bad. Let me put that out of the way and see how bad it shakes here. See if I can get some of the shimmy shake out of it. That's not too bad. Alright, here we go. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1 inch, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Now I'm going to back it out, and I'm going to go back in for a spring pass too. And a spring pass back and forth a little bit. It's really not necessary, but I'm going to do it anyway. Alright, now I'm going to go back in again. The reason I went to that number, I got some 3/4 inch oil light, and I'm sitting at 700, so that gives me 50 thou to turn that oil light up and make a bushing for that. I don't have to go with an oversize or anything. So there was a reason for my insanity, I guess. There was a reason why I went to that number. Okay. All right. I think I'll pretty much call this boring part of it done. You can see down in the hole. And now I'm going to go to the mill, and I'm going to take and cut a slot in here, drill a hole. Actually, I don't need to cut a slot. All I need to do is drill a cross hole and to put the spring in there and put the pin on. Yeah, so basically I'm just going to take and go ahead and deburr this up on the buffing wheel, and then I'll have to make the sleeve for it. So when I get ready to start making the sleeve for this, I will come back and we'll attempt that next. Okay, here's what I got so far, and basically I've got all the parts made, and I'm waiting on the drill chuck, but this is what I've got. I made a pin, and I drilled a cross hole in it to hold the spring in place. I have a bushing, which will slide in the end of this. Let me put you up here, so that this will slide right in there. It's really snug, so. And I have a spring, and then I went ahead on this and I drilled all the way through. I drilled a knockout hole so I can knock that back out. I was going to put a cross pin hole to knock the pin out, but I ruled against that. So now this can go in, and then the spring goes in there, and then the bushing. And like I say, the bushing, I'll probably put some blue Loctite on it when I come to put it in for, if I can get it in there. But okay, so that, and now when I get the drill chuck, that'll be mounted on the end, and then I'll have spring action here, just like I want. What am I talking about? The chuck is going to go on the end of the motor. This has got to get Loctited on here yet. I'm going to Loctite that cup on here. I can go ahead and do that actually. I'm going to I'll clean it up and then I'll Loctite that in place. That can be put in place. I don't need to wait for that, for the drill chuck. The drill chuck will get mounted on the end of this. I'm hoping that I won't have to make any sleeves or anything. If I do, I'll go order another little collet chuck like I have on my high-speed drill press that I made, which I like. I've used it. I used it a couple times now, and it actually works like a champ. I got the wires with bayonet plug-ins, so I can plug it into my test box, and then flip the switch on and just drill holes with it. Let's see if I can, sorry, can't even see. Yeah. Anyway, I just hook the bayonets, or hook the wires up to my test box over there. And I put my part on there, and if it's a round part, I just put a V-block on there and saddle the V-block in so where it's in the right position, and just let the weight of the head do all the work for me. And like I say, matter of fact, I put drop oil on it, walked away, and I just let it sit there and drill through, and I didn't notice, and it kept on drilling, went right up the bottom, which that don't hurt anything, other than it made a mark on my bench. So, but anyway, that works good. So now I'm hoping this will work just as good. I'm hoping that this will work really well on the lathe. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, mount this together, and then put this together, and then I'll be waiting for the drill chuck to come. And when that comes, when that drill chuck finally gets here, I'll take and put it together, and we'll see if we can drill some little holes for jets. Matter of fact, I've got this sitting here waiting, and I have the parts made up. I have to drill a little tiny hole and finish this out, because that's what on the other tiny that I have, which is what's up in that glass cabinet. You can't see it from here. Up in there, in that glass cabinet up there. But anyway, that's what I struggled with on that one. It runs, but it doesn't run real well. So I'm hoping this one will run a lot better. And like I said, I struggled with that hole. Matter of fact, I think it took me 3 tries to actually get the hole drilled in that. So, and that's why this one got set on the wayside, because I didn't want to struggle with that little hole again. But that's gonna be our first project when I get this little high-speed unit done. So anyway, stay tuned, and the first time I use it, I will definitely video it and show you what it's all about, and see if it actually works the way I'm hoping that it works. And on other projects, my little control box here for power feed, and when you flip it on, I'm going to turn this all the way down, but when you flip it on, the power it stays on, no matter if the spindle is going or what. So you're sitting there churning away. I am going to redo that. I have to tighten the belts up on the lathe anyway. I discovered that today, and when I have the back tore apart and I'm adjusting the belts, I'm going to go ahead and wire in a 110 volt plug-in box on the back side that will come on and off with the spindle. So whenever the spindle is running, it'll be 120 volts will be there, and when the spindle's off, it'll be off. That way I don't have to turn the thing on and off over here. It kind of annoys me that it sits there and runs the whole time, that if I'm miking the part or adjusting or doing something. So I am going to fix that so that it doesn't do that. So anyway, that's where I'm at with the high speed for the lathe, and basically just put it together now. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you later.